Hi, Susan Hefner here. As a parent of a homeschool student athlete, actually two of them, I've been through the process and I wanted to take a little bit of time to share with you kind of the overview, the big view of how to achieve academic certification for your homeschool student athlete should they choose to compete at the Division I or Division II level in college. So let me pop over here to share my screen with you. And here you see we're going to go through planning for NCAA Division I or Division II academic certification. First things first, when you begin looking at the process, you should always go straight to the source. And that is, these resources are available to you on the NCAA Eligibility Center. And there's the NCAA Homeschool Toolkit. That's an invaluable resource. There's a lot of information in there. I advise you to print that out and to read through the whole thing, starting as soon as possible and just refreshing every year, just looking at the most recent publication for the Homeschool Toolkit. And then also there's the current NCAA guide for the college-bound student athlete. Everything that I talk about today comes from these two resources, and I advise you to have these printed out and available to you as you go through the process. So as I mentioned, we have two Division I student athletes. Both daughters that we have are swimmers, and one swims at a mid-major and one swims at a large university, and they were homeschooled all the way through. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. So the goal really is to achieve academic qualifier status for Division I or Division II. There's also other levels that your student athlete can compete at. There's Division III, there's NAIA, but I'm specifically going to talk about Division I, Division II certification because Division III is done at the conference level and NAIA is just a slightly different process. So there's basically 5 steps that the homeschool student athlete has to check off, or 5 blocks that they have to check off before they can achieve academic qualifier status. And we're going to run through those today. And so we'll just jump right in. The very first thing is the administrator in accordance statement. This one's really easy. This is just a statement that indicates who managed the homeschool program, like who taught the classes, who evaluated coursework, who awarded the grades and issued credit. And not only that, it also attests that your homeschool is operated according to your state laws. Some states have very, very few laws, but other states have overseeing bodies that certify homeschool status. And so you have to make sure, you have to attest that you are operating within the confines of your state law. So that's the accordance statement. Easy, check. The second requirement for homeschool student academic certification is students have to take an SAT or an ACT sometime before their graduation date. So the score report has to come from a testing agency. There's a sliding scale, meaning that the actual score that they achieve on the SAT or ACT is matched up with their GPA, and there is a minimum score, and the scales are slightly different for Division I and Division II, but that is available in the guide for the college-bound student athlete. So those scales are available in there. There is a minimum GPA as well. You have to provide proof of graduation. So as a homeschool student, your proof of graduation may look a little different from state to state. It could be as simple as a diploma showing the month, day, and year of graduation. It could be your homeschool transcript showing the month, day, and year of graduation. Other options would be like a GED, and although I don't recommend that, but that is an option. And then there's also exceptions in New York, Hawaii, and students who utilize Florida virtual school. So just make sure that you know what the graduation requirements are for your state and how to attest to that. And then you can provide those to the NCAA when the time comes. You should also submit, or you will also submit, a master transcript at the end of your junior year and at the end of your senior year. And this is it's a complete record of all courses taken in high school. It shows your ninth grade start date, course titles, grades awarded, units of credit. There has to be a grading scale on there, and that can be just so that they know what the grade that is shown on the transcript, what that scale corresponds to, whether it's a 10. Um, Also, you need to indicate which academic year each course was taken. So you can list your transcript by course. You can list your transcript like course description, like English or math. You can group them that way, or you can group them by year, academic year. But either way, you have to show the year that the course was completed. On your final transcript, the graduation date should be clearly indicated, and you have to provide a handwritten signature on the transcript and indicate where dual enrollment courses or non-homeschool courses were taken as well. And so that brings me to another point. So your homeschool transcript is kind of like the master document that shows all of the courses that your student has taken throughout the 4 years of high school. Not only do you have to show the courses that your student has taken at home, you need to show the courses that your student may have taken through an NCAA approved provider, which we'll talk about, or perhaps a dual enrollment institution, which we'll talk about, or perhaps in your state or in your district, homeschool students are allowed to take courses at the high school. Those also need to be shown on your transcript, even though the paperwork's a little bit different for what you have to submit regarding those courses. Your homeschool transcript is going to show all of the courses for the 4 years that your student was in high school. There are some other things that you can take into consideration, but in general, that is the rule. In the Homeschool Toolkit, there is a sample high school transcript. And on that transcript, everything is highlighted, including what you need to include on there, including the name, the address, the ninth grade start date, the anticipated, you can put anticipated graduation date until your student has actually graduated. You will show all of the academic years and the courses. You have to show a grade and the credit that was issued. So 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. You'll have notes on there that indicate where classes were taken. So here we have Spanish 1 with an asterisk, and it was completed at a virtual school. So they just indicated on that on there. So if you took classes, for example, at Excelsior classes, which is an approved provider, NCAA provider, you would indicate that somehow on your transcript, perhaps with an asterisk, and put it under the notes that you took that course or your student took that course at Excelsior classes. You would also indicate any institution, including like dual enrollment institutions or community college. Here's your grading scale, and you will provide an academic summary like a cumulative GPA, credits earned, and expected graduation date. Also, you have to sign the homeschool transcript as well. Many students will take courses, truly high school courses before the 9th grade. For example, on the sample transcript, we have Algebra 1, which was taken in the 8th grade. As long as a course is truly a high school level course, you can include them on the high school transcript and include the grade and the credit as well. So what are the requirements, academic requirements? Well, if you shoot to meet college admissions requirements, you have nothing to worry about as far as the NCAA Division I, Division II, or any other athletic academic certification is required. As long as you shoot for that, the rest will be easy. But as far as the NCAA is concerned, the items that you have to submit, including the first 4 things that I mentioned, you have to include 16 core courses. You have to cover those in some way, shape, or form. And those are a combination of English, math, natural and physical science, social studies, foreign languages, and then you can also include non-doctrinal religion or philosophy. So this is a summary chart of the different combinations of courses that are required to make up those 16 core courses. Now, remember, these are not all that are required for graduation. These are just the courses that are required for NCAA athletic academic certification. So there will be other courses that are included on your transcript to meet your state requirements as well as college admissions requirements. So here we have Division I and Division II. This is a summary of the number of courses. So you can see you would have, for Division I, you have to take 4 English courses, and Division II, you have to take 3. But what I want to highlight here is this is from Big Future over here, and this is generalized requirements for college admissions. So if you shoot for college admissions, which is 4 English courses, you're going to satisfy Division I and Division II. Now, so you can go down through each one of these subject areas, and you can see what the required number of courses would be for each area. So there's math, science, additional courses. So when you see additional courses, so in addition to these minimum number of courses that are required here, you have an additional math or English. Well, there's not an additional over here under Big Future because it's already covered up here. Then you have social sciences, that would be like your history courses and so forth. And then additional courses can be in any one of these areas: foreign language, comparative religion, philosophy, or additional courses from above. So there are requirements outside of English, math, and natural science. But if you strive to meet college admissions and include a good mix of English, math, natural science, and then maybe foreign language or some other courses, you'll easily meet those requirements. Just note that the math courses must be Algebra 1 or higher. The religion courses must be comparative, and you have 8 semesters to complete the 16 core courses, 8 semesters from the declared start date of 9th grade. So Division I certification also requires that 10 of the 16 core courses be completed before the start of the 7th semester, which is the start of your senior year. So what gives most parents anxiety is meeting those core courses or getting those core courses approved. There's 5 ways that you can do that. 1, if you teach the class at home or you oversee the instruction of the course, you will have to write a core course worksheet. This is not that difficult to do. It sounds very intimidating because there's no pre-approved curriculum. But generally speaking, your courses will be approved if it has regular instructor-led interaction for the purposes of instruction, evaluation, or assistance during the course. It could be a tutor. It could be just an online tutor. It could be the parent themselves. But in general, these are high school level courses that have regular teacher interaction. So a core course worksheet documents that the parent or designated tutor is the one who taught the class and who issued the grade. It tells who, what, when, and where. It tells the level, includes the text, description, and objectives, and how the course was assessed. The second option is a non-traditional core course worksheet, which is very much the same as a core course worksheet. However, the NCAA lists non-traditional providers such as Khan Academy or Easy Peasy, and that list is expanding. But in general, there's the same fields. But what they're looking for is teacher interaction. So pick your non-traditional core courses carefully. In general, most of them are going to be traditional core courses if they're taught at home and just using an outside resource. The next option is dual enrollment or dual credit. If you use dual credit or dual enrollment through your local community college or a local university that allows students to take college level courses, no core coursework sheet is required. You'll just show that core course on your high school transcript and have the dual enrollment institution send a transcript to the NCAA for your student as well. So you'll have the homeschool transcript that shows the course, and you'll have the transcript from the community college or dual enrollment institution. The course titles on your homeschool transcript have to match the course title on the dual enrollment institution transcript. But if you do that, there's no core course worksheet required. You can just check off that course. You can also use an NCAA approved provider like Excelsior classes, and there's several others that are available. If you use an NCAA provider, like for example, Excelsior classes, they've gone through the process to certify that the class is a high school level course and meets the student-teacher interaction, defined period of time, so forth. And so that's already been checked off. And if you use an NCAA approved provider, no core course worksheet is required. It's very similar to a dual enrollment credit, except it is a high school level course. And then that provider will send a transcript to the NCAA. Again, your homeschool transcript has to show that you used an NCAA provider, who that is, and the course titles have to match. You can use any combination of the above. So you can write your own core course worksheets. You can use dual enrollment credits. You can use NCAA providers. Any way you want to do that in order to meet the 16 core courses. So it sounds intimidating because it's a lot to do, but it's easy to manage. And there's a lot of student athletes who've achieved academic certification without much planning because they were just focused on college admissions. And if you do that, then it'll be easy to do, or it's doable. But if you have time and you're on the front end of the process, if you can start planning early, think about what your student's going to take for the next 4 years. If you start in 8th, 9th, or 10th grade, you can map that out. So pick your start date, register with the NCAA, identify what the core course requirements are, identify your state graduation requirements, identify college admissions requirements, and plan for the ACT or SAT testing requirements. Track your plan annually. So lay out what courses your students needs to take, not necessarily picking the course, but knowing that in the sophomore year, they need to take a math, a science, a history, and whatever else you want them to take, so that you can check off all 16 courses by the time the 8th semester is reached. The clock doesn't count for early high school credits. It's only that 9th grade start date. Review your plan annually and adjust based on your student's progress and interest. So you may have planned for anatomy and physiology in the 11th or 12th grade, but they really like physics. So take physics 2 instead of anatomy and physiology, and just adjust annually as needed. Complete and save core course worksheets for the courses that are taken. Submit. You have 2 choices. You can submit your paperwork after each semester once you've registered your student, or at the end of 6 semesters, which is sometime in the 11th grade year, after the 11th grade year. And then you can submit the remaining after graduation, grade 12. The reason that many people choose to submit after the 11th grade is because that's when coaches will place your student on the IRR, an institutional request list. And what that is that's the NCAA will only evaluate your 5 check boxes once a coach has placed your student on their recruiting list. Otherwise, it's going to sit there. They will not review your paperwork. They will not tell you if a core course worksheet is satisfactory to be approved until after the coach places them on the list, which is very intimidating and very scary for a lot of parents. But it doesn't need to be, because if your student is prepared for college, you've taken rigorous classes, you can do this and your student will be successful. So that's the goal. Once you do all of these things, your student has done the hard part, which is participate in the sport and be successful academically, then they're ready to go. And you've done a great job. Again, this is just a quick overview. I advise you to, like I said, go back, print out the NCAA Homeschool Toolkit, read it through, come back and read it again every year. And also check with the current NCAA guide for the college-bound student athlete. I have found that the Eligibility Center folks are really willing to help and answer your questions. They're not there to keep your student from being able to compete at Division I, Division II level. They're there to help make sure that your student is academically prepared for college. And because it's a lot to do to be a student athlete and keep up with your academics and keep up with your sport. But I can tell you from having gone through the process with 2 Division I student athletes that it's doable. And being an athlete who is a student makes them a better student. Thank you. Have a good day.